It's not that you shouldn't be doing X, Y, and Z. The timing of it, though, is not right. And when you're looking at it from a development standpoint,
you're not gonna improve skills or tools during an in-game environment, not even pro.
yeah,
If high school coaches wanna have a great team, a great environment, a great program, they have to start doing things for the sake of the long-run development process.
but it's ego. If the kid is getting better and he's trying to communicate, trying to do this and that and whatever, then what's the issue, right? Welcome back to the AOP podcast. My name is Art Salazar. I'm the CEO of AOP.
My name is Frederick Arias, pitching performance coordinator of AOP.
Today we're going to talk about why 95% of high schools have it all wrong. So let's lock the fuck in. You want to start on this one? I think you're feeling real strongly.
Yeah, I do have a problem actually with the timing and everything that high school use for the sake of development, mental health, and emotional process on young athletes at all.
Yeah.
For example, why are they playing games in October? Why? Why is the reason? Explain me why, and then we jump on the rest.
Yeah, so, I mean, the thought is, and for the people that don't know, in case this is your first time, Fred comes from the Dominican Republic. This is month 11 here now. And so high school scene and all of that is still, you know, it's like an adjustment coming straight from the professional world, 10 years of professional experience. So why they play games in the fall is because it's just the norm. I'm not sure I can even give you a reason.
Okay.
You know, like I think you're probably looking at college, you know, colleges that play fall games and like they use it as their like tryout period to figure out, you know, who's going to be good, where guys are at. I couldn't even really give you like a solid reason why.
Okay, do they understand that they're dealing with guys between 14, 15, 16, and 17 through 19, the latest?
Yeah, the latest.
The latest 19 years old, young guys. They have so much development path into their career, their bodies, and everything that anything can happen in 3 months, 4 months span.
Yeah.
So if their approach is to play game right now, to know who's gonna be the best pitcher of your team
In March.
in March, that's completely wrong. That's completely wrong. Because you don't know which of these guys that is throwing, let's say, is throwing 80 right now in October, train during December, January, and February, and he's throwing 87 by March and throwing strikes and everything. So just because he was not that pitcher in October, you're not gonna give him chance, and you're not gonna give that guy a role in March. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and the argument here is like, oh, it's team chemistry and we're building up the program's bonding and program chemistry and program buy-in. But it's like, you know,
It changed a lot.
Yeah.
We're dealing with young guys. You're as a coach, you know, you gotta understand that their environment, you're gonna build it in 1 or 2 months. Even guys gonna transfer from the first half of 1 year to the second half of next year. You got 3, 4 guys that probably gonna move to another state or another county or something, and they're not gonna be playing for your team next year.
Yeah.
Or then you can get 1 or 2 other guys that just got transferred
Yeah.
to your high school that they're gonna be part of your team.
Yeah.
So even then, like, and even for the sake of winning,
Yeah.
if I'm a high school coach and I want to have a solid team to win during season next year, I want these young athletes to develop their skills
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter if they know PFPs. If they're gonna get rated because they're throwing mid-70s,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. If a pitcher can throw hard, but he don't know how to throw strikes, do you think that during the season or playing games you're gonna teach that guy to throw strike? No. He need to spend time how to improve his control and all that, or maybe improve his mechanics. But that takes time off from game environment to actually improve. You're not gonna improve skills or tools during an in-game environment, not even pro.
Yeah.
We got, let's say, the case that Blake Snell.
Yeah.
He was getting rated at the beginning of the year, and because of injuries and another here and there reasons, he spent couple weeks or even month or two off from game.
Yeah.
And he came back to the big league team and started being the pitcher that he was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But do you think that he actually improved that, getting rated in more games? No, he takes a time off from that competitive environment to actually figure it out what's going on, fix it, and then come back and compete at a better level that he was. Because now he knows what was going on. He do what it takes to fix it, and then, okay, I can compete better. So the same formula applies for these kids. Like, if you really want a competitive team as a high school, you want to have the guys that has more developed tools and skills at the same time.
Yeah.
And to develop that, it's not going to happen in an in-game environment. Because in-game environment is time to compete. It's time to whatever you have, throw it and compete. But if I got a knife and you got an AK-47, I'm not gonna compete with you. Come on, it's not even fair. So that is my point. So since the season is in March, they need to spend time, or at least give young guys time to develop tools and skills. Month before, and then by January, February, you start to build clubhouse, team environment, work on in-game strategies and all that. And then
it's not that. And I'm want to be clear. We're not saying you shouldn't be, like you just said it right now, do it in January, February. It's not that you shouldn't be doing X, Y, and Z. The timing of it, though, is not right. And when you're looking at it from a development standpoint, like you're pointing out, if your goal is really to see the kids reach their ultimate level, it's counterproductive to then have this schedule be the way it is, where you're doing weights 4 to 5 times a week at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, and then you guys have practice 5 times a week and then a game on the weekend, or however you fill in the schedule, and not allowing the kids to come into themselves. You know, and like you mentioned earlier, something that I've seen a lot over the years is how many kids that are, you know, mid to upper 70s, they come to a place like AOP, and then by season they're throwing low 80s, mid 80s, and it's like the first month and a half of the year they don't get a chance, and then these guys start getting raked, and then before we know it, but maybe you could have started the year by giving that guy a chance, because you would have done it the other way, where your mind wasn't made up in the fall, like most of the time it is. And you would have found out that these guys that actually worked on developing themselves are now going to be more of an important piece to winning games, because, you want to win games. Once you start playing, in March, let's win. You know what I mean? But like doing it backwards, and you start missing out on guys that took the time to try to find outside resources to become who they felt they could be, you know, and then go and apply it for their high school. And I think not fully, but partially as well, why you'll start seeing guys leave programs is they hate the environment. And I'm not saying it's okay. This is just what I'm seeing. A lot of guys just can't stand that they're doing 8-hour practices going over, let's say, bunt defense because little Johnny can't figure it out or whoever. And then we have the stud over here that's Division I, whatever, and you know he's being stuck there at practice, and then he gets home at 7 p.m. and he can't do anything for himself.
And this is part of why we're having this conversation. And even like when I say that they do not understand that they're dealing with young bodies, young humans, it's even on the workload and even of the expectation or the mental bias that they had of these kids. That's these 14, 15, 16 years old, 17 years old, they gonna fail a lot.
A lot.
They gonna fail a lot. They gonna get nervous. They gonna be tired because of school. They're gonna be tired because they were lifting this morning and they haven't eaten enough to actually recover. I don't know. They spend some tough time during class, or they just like get the first girlfriend of their life. They get excited, but at the same time getting stressed about it. This is part of all the components that these kids at their age, they were dealing with all this at the same time. And at the same time, they're trying to play in a sport. And like I say, perform and compete. And then a kid that probably showed up but with a low energy, you don't even ask the reason why this kid showed up with a low energy. Just like immediately start putting bias and make an X into the behavior of this kid, or like just run for an hour because you're not putting exactly like first ask, remember that you're dealing with kids, and at the same time give them the proper training and internal environment to grow, to get better, recover, grow. Get better, recover, grow. Don't overwork these kids.
And then understanding too that imagine what a program could look like if, let's say, you went and developed all those kids that are throwing low mid 70s and now they're all, let's just say, even 80s. And let's say you have a staff full of guys that are all 80 to 87, and you went from a staff of guys throwing low mid 70s and maybe one or two guys, then you start riding those guys. So now you got a couple options, and then what is that going to start creating? Competition, better environment, XYZ, and before you know it, you're slowly changing the culture that was so important, because now kids are realizing, oh, okay, wait, I'm actually getting better. Let me buy in more. Maybe I'm going to get more out of this. Now there's going to be guys next to me that are, shit, he's getting better than me. I got to work harder than here at practice, because whatever we're doing is working. And again, just speaking on what it's in front of us is what 85, 90% of the time, kids feel like it's a lot of the same stuff. They don't even have pitching coaches, and literally not have pitching coaches. Like there isn't someone there focusing on pitching, regardless of their experience. Or they're just, everybody's long tossing. Everybody's just going to go run 50 poles, and then it's time to do PFPs and then go stand in the outfield.
Throwing 45 pitches bullpen.
80 pitch bullpen, 60 pitch bullpen. There's guys that are throwing 45, 60, 80 pitch bullpens, and it's just like, whoa. You know, like that kid might, let's say he's throwing 83, 85. And then like you said earlier, he comes out to his game and he's throwing 78 and the coach is losing his mind. What's wrong with you? Are you not trying? And the kid's trying as hard as he can, and it's just, he's so broken down that what do they expect?
Exactly.
And it just, like you said, goes back to the broken culture and not understanding that they're dealing with children. These are kids, you know?
And like I say, like, if high school coaches wanna have a great team, a great environment, a great program, they have to start doing things for the sake of the long-run development process for their players in general. And even the way that they use the kids during games or during practice is not the proper ones, because they're acting or they're like doing things thinking that these kids at 16 years old, they're gonna be capable to do the same thing that a guy at 27 years old in the big leagues is capable to do, like throwing back-to-back days or throwing a bullpen today and then throwing in-game the other day or tomorrow either, the next day.
Yeah.
And then expect the kid to be performing at his full capacity, but his body is actually figuring out how to grow, how to put muscle mass here in this part, how to deal with mental stress, because I got a tough science test today or tomorrow, and then I gotta do homework, or I gotta help my mom to clean the house, or there's so many things around a teenager's life that is so new for them, and they're just trying to figure it out and like deal with all that at the same time that they are trying to be a good baseball player. But then as a coach or manager, whoever, into a thing, instead of like understanding that and understanding development process, usage rules to, let a body recover from one workout to another and everything, they're not doing that. And then there's so many kids that they get hurt just because of that. Because my coach put me to throw a bullpen today, 20 pitches, and then tomorrow I gotta throw 2 innings. Or I'm pitching today 5 innings, but I'm a two-way guy. I play third base, so I pitched 5 innings on Monday, and then Tuesday I'm playing third for 7 innings. Or catching. Like, what is that? What is that?
And
there's not even in the big leagues they do that.
Another one too is, like you said earlier, touching on this point, just because a big leaguer or college, let's just go college guys too, that they can, let's say, go to practice, warm up, play catch, then they're going to go spend an hour doing PFPs and bunt defense and whatever, run downs, everything, throwing, whatever, and then go throw a bullpen, that expecting those kids to be able to handle it because those older guys did. I mean, you're talking about a 15-year-old, 16-year-old to a 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, sometimes 25-year-old men. A big difference.
It's a big difference.
Big difference. And it's not the, they're just not trying, or he's being soft.
No.
He's not being soft. When you actually understand, again, development and the way the body's working at that age. And it's crazy to think that that culture is going to bring you the success you want as far as the kid's development's sake. You know what I mean? And having a positive culture of development, and that, hey, we care about your health and wanting you to get better. It's no words.
And I have a question. Apart from being a winning team, what else bring your program or your team more prestige into this system? What else besides being a winning team?
Having more college commits.
How are you gonna do that?
Develop them, or someone else's.
Okay, so if think about it. If you got a lot of guys with chances to get commit out of high school, it doesn't immediately correlate by probably being equal or having a really competitive team. Yes or not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're talking about development. At these ages, the more important thing is development. You're gonna compete by developing, by developing athletes. You're gonna get prestige by developing athletes and get these young men chances to go and play at the next level, and maybe go play at the next level after that.
Yeah.
And they're gonna talk about this ex big leaguer. He was playing in this high school, blah blah, or this amount of big leaguers were developing or playing or went out of this high school, blah blah blah, and all that. That's gonna bring value to your program, to your thing, and at the same time you're gonna be a really competitive team because you're gonna have a bunch of good baseball players all the time, and people will visit your place just to see players, just to evaluate. You're gonna have a bunch of scouts. You're gonna meet people. Then even you as a baseball staff or coach or whatever, you're gonna have even more chances to one day take another step into your job or whatever, if you will put it in that perspective.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just like they don't see all this, and they don't see like, okay, we might do better. We might take another approach.
Yeah. I think too, it's like not knowing what you don't know. And so, okay, let's say I don't know how to develop them. And let's say we have a couple of guys that go train somewhere or asking questions or saying, hey, I don't want to do this. Can I try this? Or I don't want to do this. I have this instead. Not having an issue with those things, getting your ego out of the way. The biggest thing I feel always deterring all of this, that, hey, you know what? You're right. X player that's a sophomore that's going to be a D1 guy or a D1 commit or whatever, I'm not going to get in your way. You know, we're going to all work together with communication to make sure that you continue to develop. I don't want to be the reason your development gets deterred because my ego tells me, or team culture or whatever. It's like there's a way to do both. I've lived it. When I was in college, we had us, something presented to us as a pitching staff, but then it was like, okay, if you want to do something else, tell me what it is, show me, and I'm good with it. As long as you communicate that, hey, I have these weighted ball drills or whatever, but I like these, so can I do these instead? This is why, blah, blah, blah. Great. Let's do it. And we made it to the World Series, and like, we're talking about college, it's the same thing, but that's the approach.
Yeah, but I feel it's apply even to high school, even more to the high school
Yeah,
world.
that's the approach.
Even more to the high school world. Because in reality, though, when we talk about college and people that work for college, they, for normality, they might have a better resume than high school coaches, because like the media of the level of high school coaches is way less than a college. So as a high school coach, you should be even listen or having more flexibility or I don't know, freedom for you to get guys training here and there, applying those routines, those training, the lifting to their own routine and development process, so you can even learn from that.
Yeah.
And like I said, give them the best chances to develop themselves from not only your knowledge or whatever is your background, from another person in another place that is like on that player corner trying to help this kid to be better, that have a different background. It doesn't mean that it's better or not, but has a different background and maybe has a different perspective, and he's trying stuff. And especially if the kid is actually getting better, don't get your ego hurt that kid career or development process, whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you hear coaches talk about it a lot that, we want to develop the kids. Okay, so if that's the focus of it, like you said, if guys are getting better, then what's the problem? Ego. Mm-hmm. That's it. It's that simple. There's no well this, well that. Yeah, I mean, well this, well that. But it's ego. If the kid is getting better and he's trying to communicate, trying to do this and that and whatever, then what's the issue? Mm-hmm. Right? You want one of your best players or whatever to help your team win. He's trying to get himself better. What's the problem? And it's just what's the solution to this? I'm not sure there is one. I'm not sure we could say we're taking steps in the right direction. I'm not sure. There's schools that'll pop up. People will get jobs, maybe young guys starting to work their way into high school jobs. But then I feel like this culture of ego starts, it becomes prevalent regardless because of whatever the reason may be. It's just tough. And I say for the kids out there and parents that don't be scared to ask questions. Don't be scared to educate yourself. Don't be scared to look for outside resources. Mm-hmm. For us here personally, I'll communicate and try to communicate with any coach anywhere because we have no ego. I'm open to hear anything. If you're able to find a better reason why X, Y, and Z that's actually going to correlate to, let's say, X player's development, great, let's talk about it. But most of the time it's other conversations, and that's fine. I'm always going to respect, and we're always going to respect. At the end of the day, this kid's going to play for your program, and we're never going to directly say, that coach is dumb, that coach doesn't know what he's doing. No, it's always respect. Let's communicate. Let's try to find a relationship, that's going to, work together for us to all communicate and help this kid become who he wants to be, or this kid that's a stud to reach his full potential, so that we're not holding him back, or that what he's doing there may actually be hurting him, that we can try to figure out a resolution to that. So we challenge you to take those avenues, and be careful.
Just start thinking about and having a player or person center approach. Start thinking about what is best, what I can do to help these human grow up and develop and have a baseball life, whatever better.
Yeah.
What I can do right, just let this kid go to this place and train, or do I encourage this kid to do it better in X part of his development? It doesn't mean that I have all the answers. I don't even have all the answers, and I have a lot of experience, and I've been in a lot of places and all that. And I genuinely believe that players, parents, people around this system and business respect you when you are willing to say, I don't have all the answers all the time, so I'm going to do my best. I got these resources. I can do this and this and this. And if I cannot help, I'm going to be open to work with someone else that can help you. Because all that matters is to get you better.
Yeah.
And give you the best chances possible so you can play and live at the next level.
That's it.
That's it.
Player
Simple
first
as
approach.
that. Player first.
Player first. Thank you for listening to the AOP podcast. We appreciate the support. If you guys can subscribe, and comment anything you guys want to share with us, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Thank you.